We've got the head of the Republican Party, Bob Tiernan, on the line. Bob, did you hear that message from a constituent from another state?
Well, I hope I'm a little bit better than my counterpart.
Well, you know what he's talking about. He's saying that an awful lot of Republicans stand up and defend the idea of, say, 1% for art and some of those things. But I wanted you to come on to comment on something else. It appears now that John Kitzhaber, who had vowed that he would rather lose the race to get another term as governor, rather than run a dirty race, has now decided to go dirty.
Well, obviously, I mean, you look at Saturday's front page headline, the Oregonian, claiming that, Chris Dudley, 17 years ago or 16 years ago, whatever it was, that somehow because he was paying taxes in Washington, although he's paying all of his Oregon taxes, somehow is something like scandalous. And, even it kills me. Even in the article, if you read the whole thing, and then it comes out and it says, very, 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 very clearly, it says there was no wrongdoing by Chris Dudley and that he did nothing wrong. And I think that, having this sort of thing spun up is really unfortunate. And it also begs the question, why are they talking about it? Is this the best they can do? You have a guy who's never been in politics. You have somebody who is running for the first time, who wants to make a difference, and you're sitting here going to dig up something when he was 28 years old that he should have lived in Oregon? Really?
And why should he? I mean, why? I want conservatives, Bob, to stand up and say, if you find a way to avoid paying taxes, tax evasion is illegal. Tax avoidance is not only legal, but it's encouraged. I mean, you say, here is an exemption for you if you decide to conduct your affairs in this way or that way. It's perfectly legal, and I guess I get a little concerned when conservatives back off on their defense of a man and say, well, he might have done that to avoid paying taxes. Avoiding taxes is perfectly legitimate in the United States of America.
Well, you're absolutely right, but the underlying issue here is, and this is what I have a press release came out today, when we're asking the governor, we're begging the governor to please, in this situation with Kitzhaber's girlfriend, to, stand up and do the right thing and ask for her to step down from this state agency that she is running.
Not state agency. Isn't she running? She's running a private nonprofit organization, right?
No, but she's a head. She is the head of the task force. That is
for the State Department of Energy.
For the State Department of Energy. It is not an agency, and it's not a subdivision of an agency, but it's an independent commission established by the state of Oregon that puts her as a co-chair of overseeing these renewable resources and representing the state. And the problem is that in this big investigation that's going on, is they've already sent three state employees home saying, hey, while this investigation's pending of whether there were some improprieties here in awarding these contracts because they were awarded to Mr. Kitzhaber's girlfriend's businesses, that shouldn't she step down from this association that she is co-chair of and appointed by the governor until this investigation is over.
How about this, too? How about a second issue that seems kind of minor at face value, but think about this. This man, Kitzhaber, who was chief executive for the state of Oregon for 8 years, and I think they were 8 rather disastrous years where government grew way out of proportion to the state, where he did things that were antithetical to the best interests of people in the state. He advocated for tearing out dams. He advocated against forestry. He advocated against fishing. He advocated, and he didn't do much to help the Klamath Falls farmers who were cut off from water because of a bogus, it was later found to be bogus, federal court decision, which cut them off, supposedly based on science, and then a year later said, oh, I'm sorry, the science was wrong. So that's his background, right? He wants to run for another term as chief executive officer of Oregon, and they say to him, are you on the board of directors of your girlfriend's company that's getting all these contracts from the state? And he says, I don't know. Yeah. A man who's not capable of remembering which boards he's serving on, and he doesn't know?
He doesn't know. I serve on board of directors. We have malpractice insurance. We have director's liability insurance. It's a fiduciary duty we owe the company and their stockholders. I cannot imagine. That's like saying you're a dad, you're a father, but you don't know it.
How many kids do you have? Oh, I don't know. I haven't counted lately. I mean, I guess I wish some of the people like Jeff Mapes of the Oregonian, who have so much sway over so many people who write about politics, would ask him, if you can't remember which boards of directors are you on, can the people of Oregon trust you to carry out your duties if you became governor again?
I have to say, I don't think he's being truthful.
I think he knows exactly that he's a member of that board. I think he thought he could effectively lie by saying, I don't remember.
I can't. Just before I came on, I was listening to your news, and you interviewed somebody, and they said, well, how about Chris Dudley and Kit Sauber? And he goes, you know what? I have very low expectations of politicians, and my expectations are usually met. And you know what? We got to get. I mean, I just heard on your stage. We got to get out of that.
I know. And Bob, look, over the years, I've said to people, they'll say, "Well, politicians always lie." I said, if you had that low of expectations of your kids probably turned out pretty lousy. On the other hand, if you tell your kids, I expect you to live up to a certain standard, some of them will disappoint you, but the great majority of them will listen to what mom and dad communicate, and they will try at least to hit that standard for mom and dad. If we as citizens say, we expect politicians to lie and cheat and steal, then they will. But if we say to them, if you lie or cheat or steal, we will throw you out, and we will not tolerate it, and we'll stop making it a joke and an expectation, I think we could get rid of some of that nonsense.
Absolutely, and that's why our letter today to the governor asking him to do the right thing and remove Cynthia Hayes from, and this is the exact name of the commission, the Oregon Renewable Energy Work Group, which he's co-chair, appointed by him. And this is where some of these, quote, allegations are coming from, that she used this, her power and authority there and in her company, and because of who she knows or who she's with, to get contracts. And I think remove her from the appearance of this impropriety so we can, reestablish some neutrality and some fairness in our government.
By the way, I'm talking to GOP Chairman Bob Tiernan. Bob, tell me this. Of the contracts this woman has received, to me, they sound like baloney. I mean, making an inventory of the renewable resources of Oregon, this means you're paying somebody $100,000 to go out and make a list of every windmill and power dam in the state of Oregon. This really sounds like make work where they just want to shovel some money in the direction of somebody who's got a friend like Kit Sauber.
Well, I've read several of the contract proposals, and I mean, that's a whole different show. But this is where your stimulus this is being funded by stimulus dollars, folks, to have these things, looked into, produce reports, on how far can this tennis shoe run if it was hitting with sunshine. I mean, they're almost silly. But, Lars, she also got, her company also got an award from the governor's strategic training fund to go out and train or put up programs to train individuals on how to get jobs in the renewable energy
in the green industry. Do you remember when we interviewed a guy a while back who did the state's study of what a green job was? He said you can't even figure out what a green job is and what it isn't. Apparently, under one definition, if you work at Bonneville Dam, you are not working at a green job, because Bonneville Dam is not considered to be green energy because it's not renewable, because the state of Oregon defined it as not renewable because they want 25% renewable energy. And if you counted all the power dams we have, we're already at 50%. So they defined some jobs that would seem to be green and renewable as not. And it's all just, it's a Queen of Hearts thing, Bob. You know what I mean? A word means what I say it means.
It's sad that our contracting principles are being investigated right now because money is probably going where it shouldn't be going. But on top of all that, look to what these programs are funding. But at the very least, as I said, Lars, if we cannot just have the governor remove her from this appearance of impropriety until this investigation's over, and then we'll find out where all this money is going, and was it going there for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? And by the way, what was that money being spent on, as you were just mentioning?
Good point. Bob, thanks for the time.
You bet.
Wait till you see this new studio the next time you fill in for me. Whoa, that didn't work out too well, did it? No. See, I pushed the wrong button. When you push the wrong button, you hang up on Bob, and you get a dial tone.